What is gender-based violence? Gender-based violence is violence directed against a person because of that person's gender. Gender-based violence affects people of particular genders disproportionately. Many view gender-based violence as domestic violence wherein a husband physically abuses his wife. But gender-based violence is not limited to intimate partner violence, nor is it limited to physical abuse. Rather, gender-based violence encompasses a wide range of abhorrent behaviors that are enacted against women, girls, gender and sexually diverse people, and people who do not or are perceived as not holding up societal standards of masculinity. In thinking about forms of violence that disproportionately impact women and gender and sexually diverse people, there are some additional and specific definitions we need to consider that fit under the umbrella of gender-based violence. Sexual violence includes a variety of acts, including rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, indecent exposure, stalking, voyeurism, sexual exploitation, and so on. Sexual violence targets a person's sexuality, gender identity, or gender expression, whether physical or psychological in nature, that is committed, threatened, or attempted against a person without that person's consent. Intimate partner violence is defined by the World Health Organization as any behavior within an intimate relationship that causes physical, psychological, or sexual harm to those in the relationship, including acts of physical aggression, sexual coercion, psychological abuse, and controlling behaviors. Within intimate partner violence, several types of abusive behavior fall into broad categories of coercion and threats, intimidation, emotional abuse, economic abuse, using children, using male privilege, isolation, and minimizing, denying, and blaming. The abuse can be physical, verbal, and/or psychological. Femicide is recognized internationally as the most extreme form of violence against women and girls. Its definition varies across disciplines and world regions, but broadly captures the killing of women and girls primarily by men because they are female. It includes, for example, the killing of current or former intimate partners, the killing of mothers by sons, and the killing of girls by fathers or brothers. It should be understood that there can be some overlap between types of gender-based violence. For instance, intimate partner violence can include rape, and intimate partner violence can also lead to femicide. Many women, particularly women politicians, women journalists, and women who speak on issues related to feminism, for instance, are subjected to online harassment, abuse, and violence. Ottawa-based Tech Without Violence describes online harassment, online violence, or cyber violence as online behaviors that criminally or non-criminally assault or can lead to assault of a person's physical, psychological, or emotional well-being. Even though cyber violence takes place online, it affects people offline and has real-world implications. Some examples of cyber violence include, but are not limited to, online harassment, threatening, bullying, blackmailing, unwanted sexting, stalking, hate speech, luring, non-consensual sharing of images, and recording and distribution of sexual assault. A common myth reported by the media and thought to be true more broadly is that some relationships are mutually abusive. When we read about a relationship that was mutually abusive, we immediately understand that she hit back. We imagine a relationship with two partners who hit and yell at each other, which would be what sociologist Michael Johnson calls situational couple violence, where an argument begins and violence erupts to win or stop the argument. The violence in this relationship, while still problematic obviously, is mild and sporadic or isolated and is not based in coercive control. The reality is that abuse is about establishing a pattern of control. Only one person in an abusive relationship can have power and control. And pushing a victim until they push back is a tactic that abusers use to shift blame onto the victim and justify their own behavior. In fact, the claim of mutual abuse is a common tactic by abusers referred to as DARVO, whereby an abuser denies his behavior, attacks the person making the observations about his behavior, then reverses victim and offender to try to make himself the victim and his victim the offender. So, when an abuser pushes his victim to hit back or defend herself, for instance, he can use this pushback to claim victim status. Self-defense or violent resistance is not mutual abuse. It is surviving. The person who is driven to push back against their abuser is not seeking power or control in the relationship. They want the power and control to stop. They want their freedom back. Key takeaways. It is widely recognized that responsible media reporting is a primary tool for the prevention of gender-based violence in all its forms. Gender-based violence includes, but is not limited to, femicide, intimate partner violence, sexual violence, and online abuse, harassment, intimidation, and violence.